At ease. It's your boy Soul Immortal. When it comes to, your awakening in life, right? It doesn't matter if it's your initial awakening or if you're at a stage and it's just time for you to elevate to the next level. It's gonna always be the exact same, right? And the thing is, if a person doesn't know what these phases look like, if a person doesn't understand how these things transition out, they'll quickly fall back to square one and won't even realize it, right? Now, I can tell you this. It doesn't matter what your age is. It doesn't matter what your race is. It doesn't matter what your gender is. It doesn't matter where you're located on the globe. The process is going to be the exact same for every single person. And I can tell you this. There is only one path.
Is it not written in your law that ye are gods? You understand what I'm saying? So it just depends on what level you on based on, whether you're human or whether you're immortal.
So the first thing you must know is there are 3 stages of awakening, right? There is the awareness stage, there's the silence, and then there's finally the actual awakening, right? Now, the awareness is of course is the most critical part, because that's when you first, snap out of the old. And I can remember the exact moment I had my, awareness moment. I was teaching Sunday school. I was about 24 years old. I was in a small church in Oklahoma, and I was teaching Sunday school. The pastor had asked me to teach, man. And I resisted for so long, but I finally agreed to it, right? So with me being asked to teach Sunday school, I began to take things serious, man. I began to study this Bible like never before. And within the first week or two, man, the first thing I noticed was that the stuff that I was reading in the Bible, the understanding that I was getting from reading it myself, was completely different than the messages that I heard growing up. Heard about Jesus and the prophets and what truth was. What I was reading didn't line up with what I heard from the previous 23 plus years, right? Even messages that came from my own father that was a preacher. So that just caused me first to just understand that something was wrong. And I can remember teaching these people in Sunday school class, man, and they were just raising red flags, like saying, "Hey, you can't say that. You can't do this." And I'm like, "Brothers, sisters, like it's in the Bible. You've been reading your whole lives. Like, are you not reading this?" And they called the separation. That's a whole other long story. But what they did is called a separation. And it just put me in a state where, once I separated from church, it put me in a state where I had to separate from everything. You know what I'm saying? I said, well, if the religion I've been following my whole life is not what I thought it was, then I have to question everything. Religion, politics, relationship, what happiness is, what self is. I had to start from scratch, man. And what it did and what it's going to do is send you on a journey. It's going to send you on a long journey of awareness. And for me, that looked different, man. All I did, I was in the military at the time. All I did, if I wasn't at work, all I did was read. I reread the Bible for the first time again. I reread it from a different perspective. I dove into the Quran. I dove into other spiritual books, because all I wanted was truth. All I was craving was truth. And I can remember when I started to become aware that I was, in this different phase. Man, I remember looking in the mirror one day in the military. I hadn't cut my hair in weeks. My beard was all jacked up. And I was like, man, how are they even letting me come to formation in the morning? But I was out of it. I was in a different world. I don't even know if I was sleeping any more than 2 or 3 hours a night. All I did was read, study, and pray at the time. You know what I'm saying? Because it's almost like waking up on a whole different planet. Think about what I'm saying. Everything you've been taught from day one, at some point in your life, brothers, you're going to realize that it's all BS. That it's all BS. And that's a hard pill to swallow. That information alone, that type of activity alone is enough to send somebody to a crazy house, man. So when you see a lot of people separate from that old and they seem kind of, in their own world, that's what's taking place. That awareness is a strong thing. But the thing is, it's going to send you to a place of relearning everything. of relearning everything. Even the Bible says that at some point, you got to become as ye as little children. Like once you're aware that everything is jacked up, you have to relearn everything. Brother, I even had to relearn what up and down was. I didn't trust anything, right? So that awareness, man, that first stage is awareness. And after that comes the best part of the journey, the silence. Now, the silence, in my opinion, is almost the most beautiful part of the journey. Once you look back, the silence is hard when you go through, but once you look back, the silence is the most beautiful stage, right? Because you always hear me talk about 2009. That was like the worst year of my life, man. When I didn't want to live anymore, right? And when I think about it, it was before I understood what the silence was. It was before I understood how important it was or how to tap into it, right? So what the universe or source had to do was manually put me in the silence. You hear me talk about all the time, man, where I lost everything, man. Everything was gone. Lights out, no food, no nothing. I was on fumes. I had nothing else to give, right? And it was a hard time. But looking back, that was the most beautiful part of my journey, man. By far the most beautiful part. Because what it did, like I said, it manually put me in that silence. It manually separated me from everything I knew to put me in a state of, trusting only what the source was giving me. You know what I'm saying? Before that, I thought I was winning because I had a fleet of cars. I thought I was winning because I had a crib. I was going to church and paying my tithes. I was doing good deeds. I was helping the homeless on the weekend. I was living right, brother. I was in darkness and didn't even know it. I was living a lightful or an awakened life according to the world's standards, but I didn't have understanding, brother. And the whole time I'm sitting there asking for understanding. My prayers were like, you know what? Give me more knowledge. Give me more understanding. And the universe, source is going to give you exactly what you asked for, man. So the source said, you know what? Well, if I'm going to give you, what you're asking for, I first have to remove you from everything that you've learned in your life, man. And that's what happened. That's why I say that was the most beautiful point. When I had no food, no money, no lights, that was the highlight of my life, man. Because I understood what the silence was. I understood the value of the silence. Now the thing is about the silence, man. There's a good part and a bad part to it, right? The good part is this is where understanding is. This is where the knowledge you desire is going to be. This is where understanding and wisdom and all those good things reside. All those questions that you had in the awareness stage, this is where those questions will be answered. So you got to understand, mankind can put all the information in books that we want to, man. We can write Bibles, Qurans, all type Torah, all these books. But you have to understand that all knowledge, the truest form of knowledge, is inside of us. It's embedded in us. Anytime someone writes an inspirational book and we read it, and gain from it, you have to understand that all that's taking place is resonating with something that's already inside of you. You're not learning nothing new. You can go get a brand new book. I don't care what subject it's on. If you gain knowledge from it, it's only reawakening the knowledge that's already inside of you. That's why, that's why the silence is so important. That's why the silence is so much more important than religion or textbooks or ministers, because your truth is on the inside of you. Now, the bad part about the silence is this. This is where the separation is going to come in. And when I say separation, like of course, once you go into that awareness stage initially, of course you're going to back away from what you knew, what you currently knew. But you're gonna be more in an observation type state. When you go into the silence and you get this true information, you're gonna begin to separate from your past. You're gonna begin to separate from everything in your past. And I'm talking about friends. I'm talking about places you used to hang out, clubs and parties you used to go to, events you used to frequent. I'm telling you, it can even cause disruption in your relationship. I'm telling you this. And going back to what I said at first, I said a lot of people get caught up in this and end up going back to square one because they don't understand what's taking place. I went through several years of battling, of battling going between the silence and going back to square one for years because I didn't understand. And I'm telling you, a lot of your relationships, whether it's intimate, whether it's friendships, a lot of those things aren't gonna be able to make it through. The silence is the bridge, right? The silence is the bridge to overall understanding. And I'm telling you, what most people do is they'll get on this bridge, they'll have this knowledge coming in, but what they'll do is they'll look back. They'll look back to square one and they'll see all their friends and family and places they used to hang out. And they say, you know what? I want y'all to come into this enlightenment. And when people are looking at you like what are you talking about? You're going to feel out of place. And if you don't understand what's going on, you're going to quickly fall back to square one, man. You're going to quickly fall back to square one. And I'm telling you, brother, I did that for several years because I didn't understand what was taking place. I'm going to tell you this. You have to be willing to cut everything and everybody off when you're in this stage, man. That's the only way to get to the final stage. You have to be willing. I'm going to tell you this, brother. I love my family to death. And I say this all the time. I love my family to death, man. We were like this. Me, my mom, my sister, my nieces, nephews. We're like this. But there was a stage in my life when I was in this silent stage, when I was getting this understanding and I could look back and see my old world and look forward and see the world to come. Brother, I wouldn't let anybody come, jeopardize that thing, man. Anybody, man. And the thing is, going through this stage, man, when I was just now learning like why we, why do we move like we do as humans? Like, why do we celebrate certain things? Why do we pray a certain way? Why, I was questioning everything. And I was taking this back to friends and family. And it was like, when they weren't understanding what I was saying, I was like, at some point I had to say, you know what? Okay, well, this is going to be a road I travel by myself. And I'm telling you, and I made a video about this a while back. Everybody's not built for that. Everybody's not built to walk that dark and lonely road solo. I'm telling you, man, and I'm an introvert. I'm an introvert times 10, brother. I could sit in this house for 30 days, no phone call, no television, no nothing. And I'm still telling you that road traveling to your final awakening, brother, it's a lonely, dark road. It's a lonely, dark road. And it's not for everybody. But again, you have to be willing to cut everything off. You have to be willing to walk away from family, relationships, and never look back. And I'm telling you, a very small percentage of people can do that. You know what I'm saying? I remember hearing it was a Bobby Hemmett lecture, man. One of his old joints from I think late 80s, early 90s. And he was talking about this. He was saying there are gonna be, black sheep in every family. He said every family is gonna have that one, maybe two people that are gonna be separate from the rest of the family. They're still gonna have the same love and companionship with the family, but they're gonna think different. And he said, once these people come into these stages, right? He said the first thing they want to do is go to their family and friends and say, you know what? This is truth. This is the way we should think. This is how we should move. And he said that's the last thing you should do. That's the worst thing you should do, because it's almost like when you go to when you train in swimming class, they say, you know what? Don't try to save a drowning victim if you aren't trained for that, right? And I'm telling you, when you're in your silent stages, you aren't trained for that yet, right? But I'm telling you, once you make the decision that no one or no thing is going to come between you and your journey, I'm telling you, brother, your life is going to change. Now, once you cross that bridge, once you get to the other side, brother, I'm telling you, there is no feeling, no emotion that I can, no words that I can use to describe this place, man. Only if you've tasted this place do you understand what I'm talking about, man. This is the place where you find ultimate peace. This is the place where you understand what happiness is. This is where you find your immortality. Because once you find this place of awakening, but you understand that first thing you understand is that there is no death. You understand that there is no death, nor is there any separation. You know what I'm saying? And when a lot of people talk about, they're in this enlightened state, the first thing that lets me know that they're not is when they put any barrier between them and another person. You can't be in this place of awakening and have a barrier between you and another person. You can't hate another race. You can't hate any religion, because you understand that all is one. And if you don't understand that all is one, I don't care what you're on YouTube saying. I don't care what pulpit you're in. I don't care what, how people hold you high. If you have separation between you and the next man, you aren't in this place. You aren't in this place, because this place is nothing but this place is nothing but pure love. That's the only way I can explain it. It's nothing but pure love, pure understanding. How do you think I came out of that red pill BS stage, man? While I'm sitting there saying, hate this and do, how do you think I came out of that, man? I had to tap into something and get understanding, because what the awakening is going to show you, man, the first thing it's going to show you is self. The first thing it's going to show you is self, because once you see self, you understand that this world is simply, your world is simply a reflection of who you are. It's simply a reflection of who you are. If you're talking hate against other people, against other countries, against other religions, brother, that's the world you're going to create. But once you get over there, man, you understand, man, all is one, man. Like, how can I not love all? You know what I'm saying? This is when you're in the stage to go back and start talking to friends, start talking to family. You know what I'm saying? Once you have this understanding, once you pour concrete around your belief, once you pour concrete around your truth, now nobody can take you off that square, man. Nobody can shake you. There is nothing that can take me out of my mindset right now. Matter of fact, I would rather die. I would rather just leave this world than change my mindset. You know what I'm saying? It's that crucial. The awakening, man, is everything. And I'm telling you, I don't care who you are. I don't care where you're on the planet. I don't care your gender. These are the stages, man. Like there is no other path.